Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how I got into Penn, or as some call it, UPenn. To be honest, there's no simple answer into getting into an Ivy League school, and every friend I had at school had, a different story entirely or a different route that brought them there. But I can just share a bit about what worked for me, and hopefully that will be useful. So academically, I just took a lot of AP courses, to be honest. They do recommend you take courses that are challenging, but realistically, taking all the AP courses you can doesn't work for everyone, nor is that a good idea for any human being. But what works is taking a challenging course load that is also balanced. So knowing what works for you, knowing your schedule, and as well as your limits academically. A lot of admissions committees also look for leadership activities, and that was something I was aware of as a high school student. So one major leadership activity I did was to join the marching band, and I was in the drum line. So I played the tenor drum, and I eventually became the drum line section leader. And that for me was a huge extracurricular commitment in which I made a lot of friends, but it required a lot of effort. And I'm glad that I was able to do that. Next, a lot of admissions committees look at your extracurriculars that lie outside of school. So what are you doing that shows your passions, right, and ties into your whole narrative as a student, and as well as your goals. So for me, what that entailed was getting an internship. So I remember always talking with my guidance counselor in high school, and he always told me, if you want to be a doctor, which I did at the time, he would say, you need to get a medical internship. Always, always, always. So I applied to a few, and I was able to get one at Stanford School of Medicine. I specifically was doing cancer biology research under a graduate student who was there. And it was definitely a learning experience for sure, just jumping in as a high schooler, but I feel like it was very insightful in showing me whether medicine as well as research was a career path that was compatible with my own personality and my goals. Lastly, I would say your essays are a huge component of telling your story to the admissions committee. So make sure that in your personal statement you really tie in all the qualities that we just talked about, and make sure that your personality comes out there. Most colleges will require that you write a supplemental essay. Sometimes it'll say it's optional. It is never optional, so make sure you do it. In terms of what I wrote for Penn, I was very specific. I said what major I wanted to do. I said what classes I wanted, what professors I wanted to, work under, what kinds of research labs I wanted to do. I mentioned specific clubs and organizations I wanted to join. Did I end up doing all of those things in the end when I was a student there? No, after I got accepted. But to be honest, I did do a lot, and the idea is that you are ambitious and you've done your research. You know the specifics of what you want to get out of the school, and they want to give that to you. They want to give you the opportunity, but you just got to work for it a little bit. So make sure you do your research beforehand and know the specifics about what you want to do as a student there. Make sure you are able to convey that in the essay, but also if you get an interview from the school, to be very specific there as well. So that's all I have to say about some tips into how I got into Penn. Hopefully this has been useful for you, and if you do decide to apply to Penn or to some other school that is competitive, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much.